So guys, we're going to write in slope-intercept form an equation for each line. So we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Which one do you think is going to be the easiest to spot?
Y-intercept.
Absolutely. Where's this line crossing the y-axis? Yeah, so hey, B is 1. You already got half your answer. The only tricky part for some people is they don't know how to get the slope. Well, couldn't we go from this point maybe up to this point up here maybe? Actually, are there a few points we could use? We could use this point. Could we also use this point down here? Yeah, you got several points to go from. Lorena, the key is though, do we always want to go from a left point to a right point?
No. Yes.
So which point do you want to start at? This one or the middle one? The left or the middle?
Or the top one or the bottom? I don't know.
Either one works. Guys, help her out. Which one do you guys want to start at? The far left or the middle? Down here? Okay, so if we start at this one, how far up do we go?
2.
Up 2, and then over.
1.
Hey, so that would be 2 over 1. And what's maybe a better way to write that? Just 2. Thank you, Colin. And hey, do we have everything we need?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your M, you got your B. So Lorena, what would our equation look like with those two things plugged in?
Y equals 2x plus 1.
Oh my goodness, you guys absolutely destroyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what I'm going to let you guys do, I'm going to let you guys flex on these next 3. Let's see if you guys can do 2, 3, and 4 for me. Let's try these.
We will surprise if we get all of them right.
Yeah, and so I'll show you some love here, get some mints going. If we can get 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to be very impressed. We're going to come back together and talk about 5 and 6. But go ahead, guys. By the way, if you can't see 6, it is this horizontal line going through -5. So we're doing 2, 3, and 4. Who's wanting to help me out with number 2 for a mince?
Oh, my face.
Nobody?
Right.
Hunter, go ahead, man. What is our y-intercept? What's our B? Where's it hitting the y-axis at?
Right at 3.
I'm
Negative
thinking,
2.
yeah, I'm thinking it's down at -2, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so B is -2. Now let's pick another point, Hunter. In order to get slope, we got to pick another point. Maybe you want to pick this one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's hitting right there perfectly. So how do we go? We always go left to right, Hunter?
Yeah.
So let's start with that point on the left. Are we going up or down first?
You go down.
Yep, how many?
1, 2, 3. Or I got 3.
Check it out, man. It looks like we go down 1, 2. So that would be,
You don't count the one you land on.
well, you do. I think you're accidentally counting the one you're starting with. We don't count right here. This is 0.
Oh, that's what I
And then
did.
down 1, down 2. Yep.
Oh,
and
that's
then-
what I did. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. Hey, this is why we're doing this, to see what maybe is messing us up. And then once you go down to, how far over do you go? Sure, take your time.
2.
Yes.
Yep.
So your slope is -2 over 2. Will that reduce?
Yep.
Absolutely it will. What's really our slope? Mary Beth, thank you very much. -1.
You probably just took my minute.
No, and so Hunter, I'm going to let you put it all together here, man. We got our slope is -1, y-intercept's -2. What will our equation look like?
Y equals 2. Wait, -1.
Yep. X.
X plus -2.
And if it's plus a negative, could we just maybe put minus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice work, man. So y equals -1x minus 2. Good work, good work.
What? How did I miss that?
How about number 3?
Oh, it shattered everywhere.
Any takers, guys, on number 3? I hate that, man. I'm
You
sorry.
know what? I will do it, Mr. Pierce.
Dev is going after all the mints.
I am.
So, Dev, where is this line hitting the y-axis at?
Wait. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. The little thing. It's 1.
Yes. And then,
Half you took them.
guys, here's where you have to be careful. Can you just choose any old point, or does it actually have to be where the line hits across?
You need them back.
No, it has to be where the line is.
It has to be where the line hits the cross. Check it out. Right there it hits, right there it hits, and right there it hits. You can't just, Colin, can we just like go over one and then pick a point here?
Nope.
Nah, that's not hitting anywhere.
Can't be doing that.
That's a decimal. We couldn't work with that. It's got to be somewhere where it actually hits. And so, Dev, to get from that point to this point, how far up do we go?
3.
Well, so we don't go up 3, we go up.
Oh, we go up 1 and then go.
There you go, up 1, right 3. You're good. And so what would your equation be?
It would be y equals, wait,
Mx plus b.
mx plus b.
So m is
Oh, yeah, 1 over 3
x.
plus 1.
Yeah,
I got kind of confused.
nice job. Here you go.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm going to go ahead and do number 4 for you guys, just to make sure we're good. Yep, there's number 3. I'll zoom out a little bit. So number 4 looks like it hits at -2. That's B. And then looks like it also hits the x-axis right here. So I'm going to choose that point at -1, 0. So to get my slope, I go down 2, right 1. So, Mary Beth, what would you say our slope actually is if it's -2
He's
over?
not paying attention. You can be on me.
You got it. Go ahead, Mary Beth.
Well, like the end.
Yeah, so if it's -2, yes, ma'am. And so, Lorena, do we have everything we need here?
Yes.
Slope and y-intercept, what would be our equation?
Y equals, -2/1, x minus 2.
Sure. And is it okay, Lorena, if I just put -2?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Same thing. Yep. 5 and 6 are vertical and horizontal lines. Did we talk about what those equations look like yesterday? What does every vertical line look like? X equals a number, whatever the x is. What does y always look like? Or horizontal lines? Y equals a number, because y never changes on a horizontal line. So like in this one, y equals 3. So guys, I want you to look back. Vertical lines, x equals a number. Horizontal lines, y equals a number. What are we seeing on number 5? Where is that line going through the x-axis? Sure.
Like, it's unidentified, ain't it?
Well, that's the slope, but we're trying to write the equation for the line. It actually has an equation. So
Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
okay, I'll go. Lorena, do I see a hand?
Yeah,
What are you thinking?
well, it'd be -1.
So that's the value, and Mary Beth, would it be x equals -1, wouldn't it? Because every single point we choose on this line, will x always be -1? Yes, it will. -1 here, -1 here. The y's will change, the x's will not. Great job on that.
Is there any more for men?
So last one, if you can do number 6. Boom. I'm gonna roll. Colin, you're 1, 2, 3. Hunter, you're 4, 5, 6. Actually, Hunter, you already got a mint. Colin hasn't gotten one yet.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead,
What do you
Colin.
mean?
What are you thinking?
-4? No, -5.
-5, and if it's a horizontal line,
Like 0.
y equals. Now the slope is 0, Caden, I agree, but we're trying to write the equation for the line, man. So y will always be equal to -5.
I don't see how it's -5.
It's between -4 and -6.
Or any other one?
It's between that and that.
Darn it.
Here you go. Great job, man.
School, I'm dropping out today. Best believe.
Now, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. We're almost done, but this is the most challenging part of this chapter so far, what we're about to do. Would you care, Deb, to read what our directions are going to be here, man? We got to lock in.
Oh, write an example in slope intercept form.
Is this equation?
I said equation, didn't I?
That's all good. I think you said example.
Equation in slope intercept form of the line that passes through the given points.
So here's the tough part, guys. We're not given a graph. We don't have a graph. What's all we have? 2 points. But what do we need for slope intercept form? It's y equals. We need the slope and we need the
Y-intercept form.
y-intercept. Now, guys, the good news is if you have 2 points, can we find the slope? Yes, we can. That part's not going to be bad. So I think all of us probably can go ahead and say, wait a minute, if I label these, I can find the slope. So go ahead and do that now, guys. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2. Oh, shoot. What's going to happen with the x2 and x1?
Oh, no.
Caden, if you subtract the negative, what does that become?
A positive?
Yes, sir. Becomes plus 1.
There you go.
Uh-huh. And this slope's actually not going to be too bad. So 0 minus 2, what do you guys think at the top?
Negative.
Negative 2, thank you, Colin. And then 0 plus 1, what are you thinking for the bottom? Hey, and does that reduce? Yeah, absolutely. So y equals, let's see what we got so far, guys. Y equals, do we know m? Negative 2x plus, do we know b?
No.
Let's put a b there. We don't know what b is, but let's put a b there. Now, this is the part that is really, in my opinion, the most challenging part. I think all of us can find the slope. How do you find the b, though? This is the tough
I
part.
can't remember.
Because you guys probably may not have seen this before.
I think we did it last
Yeah,
time.
we did this with, Mr. Baker.
Did you?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did they give us 2 points?
Yeah.
How many variables do we have in this equation right now, guys? 1, 2, 3. Guys, to find out what b is, shouldn't b be our only variable
Yes.
to solve for? Could we replace x and y with something? What do we know x and y make up?
Z.
Aren't x and y part of our, what do you see up here?
Oh, the points.
Oh, and they gave us points, didn't they?
Oh.
Are these points on the line? Yeah, these points are on the line that it passes through. So guys, x and y, which point do you want to plug in? You can choose either one. They're both on the line. Let's do the easiest. You want to do 0, 0? Guys, check it out. Wouldn't this first 0 be our x and that 0 be our y?
Yeah.
We know 100 with coordinates, right? First one's x, second one's y.
Yep.
Can we plug those in? Check it out. You can take that 0, plug it in for x, take that 0, plug it in for y. And now, how many variables are left once you replace x and y? Just one, and it's the one we want to solve for. We got to find b. This is actually going to be really quick, because what's negative 2 times 0? Gone.
Jeez, this is a humongous.
So what do you end up getting here? B equals 0. Which actually, if you looked up at the top, you probably could have noticed that, oh wait, x is 0. That's when we have a y-intercept.
Yeah, he said when it was always a 0.
Yeah, so they actually gave us the y-intercept here. I just wanted to see if anybody caught it. They gave us when x is 0. So in other words, this thing's going through the origin, isn't it? It's passing through 0, 0 on the y-axis. But what will our equation look like now that we know? Y equals,
Negative 2x.
and then do we even need to put plus 0? Nope. Plus 0 wouldn't change a thing. Y equals negative 2x. That's pretty tough, guys. In my opinion, finding b is really what makes that tough. Finding the slope part's not that bad. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you guys see if you can find the slope, and then see if you feel confident finding b, you can go for it. If not, just see if you can find the slope for number 2. We'll do a couple more of these, and then I'm gonna turn you guys loose so you can work on your delta. What did you guys end up getting for our slope? Anybody want to help me out? Say it again. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
We get negative 3 up top, and actually, what's 1 minus negative 2? That becomes a positive 3, so I agree with you, man. Negative 1's our slope. The problem is, what do we still got to find? We got to find b. Good news. They give us a couple points.
Yes. Yeah.
Always use the points that don't have negatives. If you can, please choose the point that does not have negatives. So I'm going to go with 1, and it's small. I'm going to go with 1 and 6. I'm going to choose 1 and 6. That's this point up here. And Deb, do we know that 1's going to be x and 6 is going to be y?
Yep.
Yep, so we plug those in. And I'm going to let you guys see if you can solve that 2-step equation for b. Go ahead and see if you can find out what we get here, guys. This is actually the easy part once you plug these numbers in.
May I sharpen my pencil?
Sure.
Well, I need 75, but it's like.
So what's negative 1 times 1 going to be?
What?
What's negative 1 times 1, Caden? Negative 1?
B.
different class.
And then, Ken, if we have b plus -1, how can we get rid of that -1? I'm gonna move it over.
What's your other?
Yeah, so if it's a -1, we could add 1. And so what's b gonna be equal to? 7. Hey, and so now we got our equation. Y equals our slope,
Is that a Y?
-1x. Say it again, Hunter.
Is that a Y too?
Yeah, x1, y1, x2, y2.
Okay, I've never got that.
Sure.
Cool.
The good thing is this is only a 2-sentence word problem. So I'm going to let you guys try this number 3 here and our word problem where you're going to write an equation that models the total distance traveled after h hours. By the way, d, distance, that's going to be your y. H, hours. What do we say about time? Time is always our x. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys work on number 3 and this word problem down here.
I'll be moving to LCA here soon.
Here's what we should have gotten for our slope, guys. Double check, make sure your slope is looking good. So you should end up with y equals -1/2 x plus b. And from here, my advice, either point works. You could use either point, 1210 or 16:8. I went with 1210. All right, so then all right. So if you want to see if you're doing these right, guys, here's what I did. I plugged in 12 and 10. So 12 goes in for x, 10 goes in for y. And the good news is this is a nice fraction. We're just cutting 12 in half and turning it negative. What's 12 cut in half? -6. Yep, because it's a negative. Plus b equals 10. And Mary Beth, how would you finish this problem off here? Add 6. So what do we end up getting for b? 10 plus 6, 16. That's the b. Here's our slope. We got everything we need right there, guys. We found our b by plugging in the points. We found our slope by doing y2 minus y1. And what is the equation? Colin, take it to the finish line here. Y equals,
-1/2 x.
Keep running, don't stop.
yep, plus 16.
Wait, I got 20.
Go.
Ooh.
18 hours right.
Let me double check here. Check it out, guys. Devin, would you care to, since you've been good at reading today,
Huh?
would you care to kind of help us, man, with our word problem? What's our situation?
Well, what you're doing is you're trying to figure out how many miles she's traveled in like H hours.
So in other words, are we given a speed that she's traveling at?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the distance.
Well, distance is d,
Yeah.
which will be y. And what is time always?
H.
Time is always your x,
Alright.
with x's and y's. Remember, from back in day 1, time's always x.
Yeah.
And actually, what do you think this 45 miles per hour is? That sounds like a rate of change to me. And what did we say rate of change is really another word for?
Slope.
Did they give us the slope? Yes, they did. M is 45. That's our rate of change. That's how much this thing's changing. Now, if distance is y, then let's put this together, guys. We'll have, instead of y, we will have d, distance, equals, what's our m? 45x. Instead of x, what will x be? Let me redo that. H. D equals 45 times, not x, but h. So 45 times the number of hours. And then really your y-intercept would just be, think about real world. If x was 0, isn't that when your y-intercept is, when x is 0? If we had driven for 0 hours, how far would we have gone? Nowhere. So if x is 0, guess what your b will also be? 0. If you've driven for 0 hours, you're going nowhere. So you could just say d equals 45h. Yep. If you drive 0 hours, which is what x is, then you go Nowhere. So there is our equation, guys. Thank you very much.